We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You know I blame it on industry. I blame it on my own hypocrisy. Miseducation and politicians. No one's willing to step up and speak.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. It is September the 22nd, and we are coming to you live right here at paceradio.net. Today on the show, we got joint host Kim Cooper, and we have a guest lined up that is a patient who is fighting for all patients and is also a very good friend of ours. And what do you think, Kim? You all ready for tonight's program? Get caught up with Justin, and have you got a weather update for us in your construction zone?
I am so ready to get caught up with Justin. It's been far, far, far too long. So I'm anxious for tonight's interview. As far as my weather update, I think the last time that I was on, we were off the air last week. The week before, yeah. I had neglected that. Did I talk about the tornado that week?
Yeah. You told us about you had a tornado the previous week. So yes. Between getting flooded out.
Well, since then we had another tornado warning. That's 3 this summer, and we haven't had a tornado warning here for 27 years.
Wow, you've had three this summer, and one actually was
3. One actually went by my house
and
took out my internet while I was live on the air with you.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
So it's crazy. It's been a crazy year for weather-related shit going on in my neck of the woods, man. I don't know what's happening, but man, it's been just nuts. And, I'm happy to see summer over, and I hate winter.
You had Craig, the week Craig filled in for me. I know that week, the week I was gone, I'm trying to think whether it was the Wednesday or the Thursday. I think it was the Wednesday because we were driving off of Manitoulin Island heading back towards towards Sudbury, and there was storm warnings then as well. Yeah, and that's not very far away from me. It was headed my way. I got that show done with Craig, and we got shit on. And once again, my internet went down. But I was done. It was later on in the night, so it was okay. Well, it's
been a shit show here.
Yes, well, it's you just keep the hatches battened down, and they say that winter may come early this year, or hit us a little harder this year. So look out.
But I mean, I plop a mobile home down in the middle of a farmer's field and start trying to build off of it, and of course that's the year with 3 tornadoes.
Yes. Exactly.
It is.
Not the best time. You might want to put some type of strap somehow to anchor that to the ground.
I'm gonna go see the wizard.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, at least, but you are progressing.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're
that's
almost
good.
there. The additions are on. They're 98% insulated. We've just got to put the plastic and the drywall up now, and put my carpet down, and it's worth so.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Well, now that we got that all caught up with, and yeah, you're gonna have to get a wizard up there behind that curtain. Yeah, yeah. As far as news-wise, as we always have a bit of a news item, quickly before we bring in our guest, Strachan. They're talking that in an article there that there's a group. The group is challenging the Manitoba homegrown ban has now joined the Quebec Supreme Court appeal with the group out of Quebec, and that has, as you know, to deal with, being able to legally grow 4 plants, like just a recreational 4 plants.
That's right. Yeah. This isn't, of course, this isn't about patients' right to grow. That was decided federally by the Supreme Court of Canada. So this is about your 4 plants. For legalization as a nation, everybody in this country is entitled to grow 4 cannabis plants on their premises, except in Manitoba or Quebec. Those 2 provinces opted out of the federal law, which encompasses the rest of the country. So Quebec has gone forward and done a court challenge on this. It's gone 2 steps of the way. Lower court, middle court, both have opposing decisions on this. So of course it goes to the Supreme Court now, and Manitoba has decided to partner with them in their challenge at the Supreme Court level. So now we will have 2 provinces. 2 lawyers appearing for 2 provinces on this what I think is unconstitutional ban.
Yeah, Toba Grown Movement. That's with Jesse Loizos, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. They've joined it as a intervener in the case, in the Quebec case at the Supreme Court.
Yeah, that's interesting that they joined as an intervener, because joining in as an intervener under that premise, that also opens the door for lawsuits. So should they prevail in the Supreme Court as an intervener, they can then sue the province.
Well, there you go. Yeah, why not? Go after them. Once this goes through the court, and if the Quebec case is ruled on, that people can grow the 4 plants like the rest of Canada, then the Manitoba one should just flop right over and just allow it. There's no reason for them to even bother going to court.
That's right. That's right. Once the Supreme Court rules, there is no overriding body to the Supreme Court of Canada. They're the final step of the way. Yeah. So I don't see a province prevailing in this. It's federal law. It's federally mandated, and we can't just have start allowing provinces to say, no, we don't like that law, so we're not going to pay attention to it.
Exactly.
That's crazy.
Well, and this isn't just it's just 2 provinces. No, it's more than 25% of the country.
That's right. That's right. Because Quebec, of course, that's the largest province that we have. So, that's a big chunk of land there. That is.
It sure is, exactly. Now, the Manitoba case right now, it's presently. They say that their proceedings in the Queen's Bench is early 2022, while the Supreme Court hearing for Quebec will be roughly 18 months from now. So Queen's Bench, that would be the provincial thing. Yeah. Oh, yes, for sure. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
We'll be keeping an eye on this for sure. This is going to be a momentous case for sure. There's no question. 2 provinces joining forces against their provincial government, because of a federal mandate that isn't being followed. This is going to make for quite the case, I think, at the Supreme Court level.
Yeah. It's going to be quite the court case, and I know, at least a quarter, and I would believe more than that, will have their eyes on the case. Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm sure tonight's guest have much to say about this as well. That's right. I'm sure. Let's get him in here and we'll get his opinion on it. So at this time, we welcome our guest who I said likes to help patients. He likes to educate people, helps people with access to medication, so on and so forth. We'd like to welcome Justin Loizos to the Pace Radio Show. Welcome, Justin.
Wow, thank you for having me, and
Oh.
thanks for the nice introduction, Al, Kim. It's nice to be on. Thank you very much.
Hey, we appreciate you coming on the show and talking to our listeners and getting caught up. You know, like we've said to other guests, we don't see each other at events anymore. So
Right.
this is our opportunity in order to get caught up, and things like that. And so this is the opportunity to do that. Now, as far as our news item, what do you think? Quebec, Manitoba not allowing people to grow 4 cannabis plants.
Right. It's unfortunate that it has to be fought out in the courts like this,
Yeah.
but it seems like there's some progress being made, and what a neat move to kind of piggyback and team up there, support each other to get a victory. It's exciting. I think
Yes.
we should all be paying attention, see if we can support in any way, and just wish them luck at the very least, right? It'll be cool to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
Absolutely.
be.
Absolutely.
It's 26% of the country. Like, if a federal law is supposed to be, spread equally across the country, applied equally across the country,
Right.
and bunch of people aren't,
Exactly.
a bunch of people aren't being able to grow. So, it's just like patients. We
Yeah.
had to go through our battle. Now we got some
Uh,
recreational users in part of our country that are going through the battle. That
Well, yeah, and it would be very similar to when it was only, cancer, MS, arthritis, HIV, AIDS, and it was sort of rare for you to get it with anything else, right? You need an extra effort from you and your
right.
dog. So you'd be on the outside looking in, being like, wow, I could be, getting so much help from this beautiful plant, but unfortunately the regulations won't allow it. We had those same issues with edibles, and the list
Mm-hmm.
goes on, and it went further back. So it's really incredible how far we've come here. Like, now we're talking about legalization, like just finishing off the board here with everybody being able to partake in that, growing their own cannabis
Yeah.
here. It's nice.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
amazing. It's amazing. It really is amazing to see it and to be a part of. But, every step of the way as patients, which,
Mm,
as we all know, is what got us to where we are today. If it weren't
right.
for the patient push, we wouldn't have legalization today.
Right.
But every step of the way as patients, every right we did gain, we gained through the courts. It wasn't the government saying, yeah,
No.
we understand, and okay, we're going to do it. No, not once did they do that.
Well,
We had to go to court for everything.
with the even the ability to grow 4 plants, where did that come from? That came from the attempt to remove the gardens from all patients, saying, you know what, we have this new system coming in. It's going to be a regulated system with commercial grows, and it's going to supply the whole country. So there was a gentleman, Jason Wilcox, and a group of supporters kind of stepped up, put the kind of wrench in that operation, and after that, they had the ACMPR before that, right, which really opened up for all patients. Like, a lot of those patients who were looking in, it looked like no one was going to be able to take part, so we were all almost going to be outside looking in, pushed outside. But then in a miraculous effort, all patients were welcomed in and able to grow. So moving forward, now it sort of transitioned in legalization, and other people have different perspectives on this specifically, but it was nice to see the whole country kind of follow suit and settle with what they thought was fair for plants. Okay, for the most part, right? Nobody felt to challenge it. And there was just these little odds and ends here with, Manitoba, Quebec.
Mm-hmm.
We've got these last sort of standing. issues. As some have been dealt with. It's coming along. It's exciting. Like this, we're not done yet.
What do
And
you
like,
you mentioned there, the 4 plants, and people seem to be happy about that. No one seemed to challenge it.
right.
That's something that's never something that I've never actually thought about. I don't know how many other people actually about challenging that number
Right.
to
Well,
try to increase that number.
why not, right? I mean,
Yeah.
sure. Here we are, right? And it's arbitrary, like 4 plants, okay.
Yeah, it
Okay,
is
sure.
arbitrary. Yeah.
Yeah, and why that number? Okay, do we need more potentially? Is it okay? I'm okay. Like these are all questions that I'm sure a lot of us have asked, and no one's really pushed. Now, the reason that I even think about it is again, I'll mention Jason again because he was always sort of, curious about this, and we kind of chatted about these ideas, and it's interesting to think about, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's I'm really happy, and I love where we are today. I think it's going to be important to get, like you said, that 25% complete, right? And then we'll see what happens next. It's maybe we'll get to a point one day where there'll be no limit, and we can just grow the plant like any other.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's another commodity. It's another piece of produce on the market.
Yeah.
It's another food group. All of that combined. I mean, it can be said for this plant. It's not only a medicine, it's in a food group. It's
Right.
a nutrient. I mean, it's so versatile. And then not even touching on hemp with the industrial applications
Oh,
that are there, all part of the same family. So deregulation and taking the reins off a lot of the reins that are on restrictions for growing for both hemp as well as medicinal cannabis.
yeah.
That's the future for sure.
I think we've made giant strides on both fronts, and not a lot of people. At least it's not as glamorous, maybe, but we've come a long way. Like the government's been making a large effort to get hemp out there and get people involved with hemp, and it's we're making giant strides. So I know COVID has been interesting, kind of turned the whole world upside down, but beyond that, I think we're going to be in a great position with our hemp, like in all across the country. Some provinces more than others, but it seems like the government's working hard to get a good hemp program here.
Yep, I can say I can't say I'm pleased with where we are, but I do have hope for change in the future. I think I find it still far too restrictive, pushing out mom and pop. Unless you've got $250,000 to $1 million or more, you're not getting in on the bottom floor. You're not able to grow for sales or get in on the sales portion of it. The restrictions on sales and the restrictions on not allowing it at a farmer's market. I mean, if I grow a great plant this summer out of my 4 plants, why can't I sell my bud at the farmer's market?
Right.
Like
Same as
everybody
your-
else,
Yeah, same
and
as
that's what I'm waiting to see.
yeah, same as your tomatoes. Like my wife Gail, she grew cherry tomatoes. I don't like tomatoes. She grew cherry tomatoes and just overwhelmed with so many that we put them in bags and put them out at the front, out on a chair, out on the sidewalk, so people could come along and get them. But cannabis, if being the age thing, somebody out there,
Well, look, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, well, they give it away. Or just have a little lemonade stand out front. Only sell
The cool thing is, look, with legalization and the 4 plants, I know that if even because not everybody can grow, even if they
correct.
legally can, it just maybe your household it does for whatever reason it just doesn't work, right? XYZ.
Right.
But guess what your neighbor's up to, right? Or your friend across the street, and it's spreading, and then the community grows, and before you know it, if enough people kind of rally together, then we might be doing exactly what you said there, Kim, like having these farmers markets and it might even start in prohibition, and then we'll kind of transition into just, just slowly chipping away at that legal side of because we do the same thing. They take place, but it's not legal yet, right? And I think the more just people who necessarily weren't the people taking part in these cannabis markets before, and then it'll be, like you said, just part of the farmers market that we go and get our tomatoes or what have you from, right?
Yeah.
That'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so you see the bags of buds sitting there, and be able to pick one up and say, "Oh, I'll have a smell of this. Oh, yes, I'll take one of these and one of these." And
Right. Isn't that the best?
Interesting story. Yeah, I mean, that's my ultimate, right? For me, that's where we need to be for me. But I know that's a ways away still. But I do hear what you're saying. Compared to where we were even just 5 years ago, this is leaps and bounds ahead of where we are. And it brings me to an interesting story. I'm going to relay you a little bit of a story. I went and I voted. Of course, we had our national election here in Canada this week, and I went and I did my due diligence, and I voted. And I have a very large tattoo on my right arm, and it was hot the day we voted, so I was wearing a tank top, and my tattoo was very prominent as I approached my polling station. Now, where I live in the far north, fairly far north, 7 hours north of Toronto. It's pretty far up here. Yeah. And we're farming communities. There's mostly, not city folk, fairly simple people, farmer people, and living their normal lives, and just, not adventurous, or not a whole lot of potheads that gather together and scream about legalization of cannabis up here. Yeah. But with the advent of legalization, there has been a huge shift to acceptance. And I see that prominently up here, where pre-legalization, you're taboo, it's the devil's lettuce, you're all going to jail, you're all going to hell, it's horrible stuff, and it's all bad. The day of legalization, it was like, that's okay because the government says so. So that's the mindset up here, right? I go into the polling station, and there's these two wonderful older ladies. One of them was maybe my age, approaching 60, and the other one was quite obviously above 70, and they're sitting there, all prim and proper and whatnot, farm people, and they noticed my tattoo, and she said, "Oh, what wonderful colors in your tattoo." And I said, "Oh, thank you." And I turned my arm a little bit, and she looked, and she said, "Oh, is that a bud?" And of course it is. It's a big giant pot plant on my arm. Right? Wow. The way she said it, "Oh, is that a bud?" I was shocked that she knew what a bud was. And I was like, "Well, yes, it is. It's a cannabis plant, and I've got THC and CBD, like the molecules are all intermingled amongst my leafage on my tattoo, and I'm pointing out the CBG and the CBN and all of these things." And she starts talking to me about how great it is that she can grow her cannabis plants, because she can't grow house plants at home, but you know what? She can grow a cannabis plant, because the cannabis plant is a wonderful plant that tells her exactly what it needs. So she goes on to tell me that she went out and bought a book, and now she just looks at the color of the leaves and then looks that color up in her book, and she knows what to give the plant, and then it turns green again, and she thinks it's just fantastic.
That's an amazing. Oh wow!
Yeah.
And see, that's the normalization. That's the farmers market. That's so normal, where people, like you said, once upon a time, not long ago, were shunning the same plan, and now they're excited about it, like everyone should be, right?
Yeah, but she told them that the older senior woman, that was well above 70, she says, "Oh, yes, I love my plants. They're very large in my garden. I didn't know they were going to get that tall." And we're having like a 5-minute conversation
Beautiful.
About cannabis
Nice.
plants with
Yeah.
seniors at a polling station in Northern Ontario. I mean, it's fantastic.
It's amazing, actually. It's beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
nice, and you
Yeah.
know now either one of the ladies, but if the one that was about your age was the one who said about the bud, well, that person's the same age as you, but you know it is. You know, it's. I think it's being that. You know, you always think that older people, older people are against cannabis, but no, they're not.
It's
Yeah.
like you said.
She was quite obviously a farmer lady, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, and it was just, I was shocked because, you know, this time 4 years ago, that never would have happened, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wouldn't have had the open conversation.
And
No.
Yeah,
I was hearing stories, and I saw a little bit, but I was, just in conversation, just about people like just in the backyard at a gathering, like a party where it would only be alcohol before, and maybe, like a couple people out of the party, like 2 or 3 of the potheads are going out to smoke, right? Where now it's a larger group, a couple tokes, a couple drinks, and it's just nothing major, and they're not maybe smoking too much or drinking too much, or maybe just instead they're saying, no, I'm not going to drink tonight. I'm just going to go with the cannabis. And it's if they found it as a new it's accepted, right? Like you said, as soon as the government said it was okay, it's like, it's no longer taboo. It's beautiful.
Yes,
I've heard similar stories as well, Justin, about from people that I know that were fairly regular alcohol consumers, and now they come home and they're like, no, I don't want to drink. I think I'm going to smoke a joint, and that's happening more and more, where they're not gravitating towards the alcohol anymore, and that's acceptance as well. I mean, it's curing liver disease.
Yeah. And who knows what else, because we all know the problems that can be associated with alcohol. There's not too many that are associated with cannabis, right? Generally speaking, it's, munchies and relaxation, a little bit of couch lock, but it's a great way to go. I'd love to hear more people smoking and less people drinking all the time, right?
Well, I know on the reefer reports we have reported that there is less consumption of alcohol by our youth. There's more cannabis and more hallucinogens being used.
Right. Interesting.
Yes. All right, break time. Time for us to go off for a commercial break.
Okay.
All righty.
Cool.
All right.
All right, pay some bills.
That's right. When we return, Kim and I will continue our conversation with Justin Loizos. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Once again, People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada.ca. Check them out.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more. We've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Growing your own vegetables, flowers, or even medicinal plants can be a challenge without the right equipment and proper know-how. At BMA Hydroponics, not only are they your urban horticultural experts and suppliers, but their staff holds the customer's needs paramount to making a sale. Family-owned with decades of experience and knowledge, they offer free advice in person, by phone, or email. BMA Hydroponics wants to ensure you have the advice you need, which is why you'll find tips and tricks on different ways to grow, like wick, ebb and flow, drip, or aeroponic system, as well as other helpful links at bmahydroponics.com. If you can't find what you're looking for, just let them know, and they'll do everything they can to get what you're looking for. At BMA Hydroponics, each staff member also possesses a federal exemptee MMAR license, making their strong suit empathy, experience, and dedication to their customers. Because when you know how to grow, you'll have results that make you proud. BMA Hydroponics in Belleville, Ontario. Visit bmahydroponics.com.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in to the Pace Radio Show. We're being broadcasted live here at paceradio.net, but you can always find this podcast afterwards at many the different audio apps that are out there. Today on the program, we're joined by our guest, patient advocate Justin Loizos, and my joint host, Kim Cooper from Northern Ontario Cannabis Resource Center. Hey, I got it all out, Kim.
Got it all out.
I usually say no, sir.
Yeah.
All right, now before we get too far in, we got some comments I wanted to mention. Based on the last segment. Ron's got a couple here. We were talking about the plant count of 4 and whether anybody's gone to court and said, hey, that number is arbitrary. We've tried to get a lawsuit in order to get it increased. And we talked about being able to sell veggies. And he wondered whether Sun Life Insurance Company had ever been sued because they had been just listing certain medical conditions that they would allow access to some cannabis, like as far as coverage, and whether they had ever been sued in order to make that list bigger. But yeah. I'm not aware of any.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not aware of any lawsuits coming against any of the insurance companies or the LPs or the government, other than the ones we've already won in court. Yeah. That was, right to extract, right to grow.
Yeah,
I think some of them have made I haven't seen any program that would kind of take care of maybe someone who is taking on a larger amount of cannabis to help with whatever they're dealing with. Mm-hmm. It was more it kind of works out to maybe a gram a day. It's and that's not a bad thing. It's a huge leap forward. Again, I'm a little bit out of touch with the insurance though, so it might be even more than that. But I knew it wasn't the best program, and it was pretty just like in the beginning with the original with the patients and the plants. Exactly. What we might see is different breakthroughs, and maybe the unions. I know the unions and their insurers. I think I've heard some good stories, and I'd love to maybe find out a little bit more. I wish I knew more.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I just know there was Sun Life and others had certain conditions. So right. Ron's probably looking to see if that's been expanded or not. And he agrees as well. on the gardening aspect, being able to, have your little vegetable stand out there on the front lawn,
Right.
and have your yard sale, right, and have a little booth over there, and be able to help to supplement
lemonade
his disability.
stand.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like that too as well. All right, so in the last segment, we just jumped right in on the Manitoba thing and just started carrying the conversation through. We never really got to the point or started off where we normally start off, and that is introducing you, Justin, to our listeners.
Yeah.
Now, some people obviously would know who you are, but there's listeners. We have listeners from all around the world who that would not know who you are. So I think it should be an opportunity in order to introduce you to those listeners.
Merci beaucoup.
Give us an overview. Who's Justin, and what have you been up to? It's too easy for us to just start talking to you because we've known you for so long.
It's just like so casual.
Exactly.
And it's beautiful. Like, to me, it's great. And especially like you mentioned, the COVID has kind of kept us apart, right? Everybody and communicating and, so this is great. But
yes.
I'll get down to business here. Is what's interesting? I'll start with my business is actually closed, like officially. I've been spending the last few days. Today was a rest day, trying to play catch up. But I've been closing up my shop, and it's it's the end of a era for me, or at least like a kind of phase of my life. And it meant a lot to me and a lot of other patients, especially. No, I'll leave it at that. Like it was beautiful in so many ways and meant a lot to me. I really feel great about it, and I'm curious, still kind of wondering even of what's going to happen next. And I've started to look. With COVID, I ended up making a partnership deal so I could stay back and avoid getting COVID. We didn't know what was happening, right? It wasn't quite that simple. It worked out that way.
Right.
I didn't end up going into the club, right? It was very minimal, and I did nothing but favors to myself, and I needed it. I really needed it.
Yeah.
And I've spent this whole time really working on myself, and it hasn't been easy. And hopefully, I'll see these dividends soon. And I think that so in the very beginning, and this is interesting, where you paint a pretty, you can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather, right?
Correct.
So good old Project Claudia, right?
Yeah.
I was so excited, and I opened up Just Compassion, and I had a great team. And my original manager, she was working at Canawide, which was BC, one of the first BC dispensaries to come over, and they initially transitioned to the Toronto style, and they were doing MMAR only. Which is medical only, right?
Yeah.
And they did that, and it was right in Kensington Market. They had this really nice place, right?
So I believe I was in there.
It's nice.
Yeah.
I
don't know. Right? Did you ever have
Caitlin?
Caitlin? Did you ever have Caitlin as your bud tender?
I did a tour.
So.
I did a tour with Butterfly, and we went around to a bunch of the different dispensaries in the city.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and yeah.
So that's a cool story. And my buddy Mark, long stories, great stories. Like that's how this whole cannabis, interesting stories, a lot of great times. But she was working there, and we worked it out. So I introduced her to him to learn all the skills, and then we could go together and work on Just Compassion. I just needed some time to get my ducks in a row, right?
Right.
So it all worked out perfectly, and she just took on what she learned there and brought it on to Just Compassion, and it was what I needed because I suffer from multiple sclerosis, right? And on a good day, it's challenging, a lot more challenging than I once knew life to be when I was quote unquote healthy, right? So to keep it simple, through rehabilitation and understanding my own limits, I on paper, like I said, I put it as though I would be on Monday, Friday, and I'd be in for like more of a social day on Saturdays, social Saturdays, in the lounge. And that was the program. That was it on paper. And Caitlin and we had it planned out. And then Project Claudia happened, and she had to make the decision what to do. And she didn't want to get arrested for cannabis, and I understood. And she had these conversations with her family, and I don't want to get too into the details, but I totally respected her decision, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I remember that. Like, so anyway, unfortunately after that, it was. I was kind of just, but this to happen, and then trying to like play catch up. Finally, I'm catching up, and then there's a robbery, and I got robbed this one time, and at the same time, I was expanding because I was in North York now, which is just north of Toronto, and I had originally opened up a dispensary, Scarborough's first dispensary, with a friend of mine, SoCo Collective. I was given an opportunity there, which is beautiful. Took what I learned, did it in North York, but I still wanted to be back in Scarborough because that's my home. So I opened up another place in Scarborough, but after the robbery, I didn't have the resources to really do it properly. And instead of maybe closing it or partnering or something, I just, I made a mistake, and I learned a bunch from it. But there was all these events, without going through everything, there was all these events and hurdles that I often just crashed right into and got knocked over, and my health kept getting impacted, affected. So fast forward the story, rewind from where we are now. I stopped the hustle of the day-to-day grind, and it's what I needed, right?
Yeah.
It was so hard.
You were doing that for years, Justin, and I mean the drive that you had, and it wasn't just your dispensary work. I mean, holy shit, you were everywhere, my dear. You were all over the place. Every rally, every parade, every gathering, every green market. And then you started, that wasn't enough. You had to start your own, and you were doing sessions in the street and, blocking the traffic at Yonge and Bloor. I mean,
that was wild.
It goes on and on and on and on.
Oh, yeah. And then all your CRC stuff?
Oh, yeah. It was the evolution there, because it kind of began with the CRC, and it began with me thinking, like, wow, that is crazy. Like, for me, again, Jason, I look up to him a lot, rest in peace. And it's those initiatives that he took to put the government on trial. And I was like, wow, that can be done. Not only can it be done, it can be done successfully. I didn't know it at the time. I actually didn't think we would win. I thought we were just like kind of, just band of brothers, just out to, but we weren't going to win. We were just trying our best. Patients were in it together. We're rallying. It was a beautiful movement, but I didn't think it had legs. I didn't think we were going to make it. And just that victory, it was just fuel. It was like, you know what, we could do this again. Like, what else can we do? How much more? That was sort of how the session in the street started, sort of. But actually, there was, I made a post, and it was from a 420. And I kind of said something, I don't remember exactly what I said, but Bill 178, which was an infringement on patients' rights for their access to their medicine, and it was forcing them outside, right? So I was like, I made a post, and it was a picture of me in the street, and it just looked like it already done it. And somehow it got written up, and then next thing you know, it was in the paper, and Sarah Fallion, she put it was a beautiful little story, and then I was like, okay, well, it's like, that's what we're doing. We're protesting in the streets. Shit, who's gonna join me here? Yonge and Bloor, boys, girls, let's go. and sometimes you just bite off, and it wasn't more than I could chew, but it was a great movement, and then it caught on. And I remember on the second one, like Vice was there, and they're filming it, and it was really interesting. And we had so much support, and the police. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. I'm just remembering it all. So I'm walking up, we have the corner where we're supposed to meet, and it says the northeast corner, Young and Bloor, right? Completely covered with police. It's all you can see. Just oh yeah, and so I'm like, oh my gosh, right? So a little nervous, and honestly, I almost feel like I could have teetered the other way, like I was like, I don't know, as I'm like kind of like using my walker to walk over with as much, like it wasn't the most valiant charge, but I get there, and now I have this clan of supporters who are just as invested as myself, who are just as passionate, if not more than myself. And it was just like, yeah, we're doing this. And
we're doing
and
let's do this, baby.
and I remember the police officer, real nice guy. He comes over. He's like, "Who's in charge here?" And I'm looking around. I'm like nobody. Right? And he's like, okay. He goes, listen, it's okay. We're here to support you. You said it's only going to be 4 minutes and 20 seconds. We're timing it. We got your back. We just don't want to see anyone get injured here, right? And we said, wow, okay. So now it just was like, woo! It just went right around. And it was weird. It was so weird because we go in there and nobody in the intersection knew what was happening, because it wasn't just a bunch of patients going into this intersection. It was patients and police, right?
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, what's happening here? And then we have the signs. So they're making sense of it, and we're starting yelling and running around and there, and everyone's moving, and like, okay, they're a protest, and they start honking and whatever. So it got a little hectic, but I think the police there, maybe they're not. I don't want to say anything too much about the police specifically right now, but in that specific incident, they had our back, which was nice.
Yeah, well, and every once in a while they do, and we have to recognize that when it happens. Absolutely, because it's a beautiful thing to see.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
We need a lot more of it, actually.
Like
I don't want to get political here, but I don't care, and if whatever. But, I didn't see any party talking about police violence or. I was a little disappointed with that with the election. I don't want to get too political or anything, but I would love to see changes made with policing, even outside of cannabis, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
100%. I'll agree on that.
Yeah,
and I gotta agree. Like, I know the first times when I started going to cannabis rallies and events, and seeing the police there and going like, wow, like. They're actually blocking the traffic. They don't care that we're walking down the middle of the street. Oh, look at that. They're helping us across the intersection, too. It's just...
Ow.
Yeah. My first GMM, it was the second one that was held in Toronto. And it was the first time I attended. And that was my eye-opener when the cops were there, because, I had already been... scooting around Yonge Street trying to get signatures on petitions and shit, dodging the cops prior to that. And then going to the GMM and seeing, the cops lined up, and I'm like, oh, wow. All right.
That's incredible.
Fucking div. This is cool. It was great.
Right, the beginning of the transition there. I remember for myself, what is real interesting was, I would always like to bring a plant with me, right? Like whether it be even if I was using my scooter, like mobility scooter, I would stick a plant in the front. If I was using my walker, I would put it on my walker. Whatever it was, I would always like to bring a plant around. And on stage, I would put the plants there on the booths and whatever, because it was almost regulated like a gun, right? And it's not a gun; it's a freaking plant, right?
Yeah.
So look at that. So Kim, what year was that? The second GMM that you were at?
Jesus, that had to be early 90s.
Wow.
I think very
90s.
What a journey.
Like 91 maybe, and I mean I was on Yonge Street getting petitions signed to bring normal to Canada in 78. Dodging the cops.
Oh, geez. That's incredible. Hey, you've seen it all. You've seen it all. So
it's been a while.
yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
I know when I came in.
Legalization. This is fantastic. I mean, this is what I've been fighting for over 4 decades.
Fuck.
yeah, and you just gotta
thank you for all your efforts.
We gotta just keep chipping at it and try to improve things. Like, I know some of the reports. I've had 2 reports within the last week of places. I believe it was in Regina where they've actually relaxed some laws or bylaws when it comes to distancing of stores from places because they're not seeing the fallout that's suspected. And this had to do with stores being close to places where the youth are. Instead of having a 500-meter barrier, they reduce it down to a 100-meter barrier type thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's got to help.
It's exactly. It's just there's a chip there, and hopefully.
Even before you know it, they're going to have really, really good cannabis all the time at decent prices, and maybe not before you know it, but I think eventually it'll become just the complete norm, and hopefully in a way that we're all happy with, because it's not perfect right now, but nothing ever is in the beginning. It seems, right?
It's a start. Good quality products at a good price, pretty much just like you had going on at Just Compassion.
Right.
I want to kind of bring it back there just for a quick sec. When you were giving us your overview, you started Just Compassion. Your compassion for patients and the general public, whether that patient was a legal patient with a prescription or a patient doing self-help or self-treatment. They're still a patient, with papers or without. And that's what your focus was. And I want to make that clear to our listeners. When you were operating your dispensary, your focus was on helping patients because our system had so many hoops to go through.
And that was it. Like, it was interesting where I think I mentioned my buddy Mark. He helped me out in the beginning, and I was getting access to cannabis at a decent price. And I was like, wow, okay. This can be done. I want to be a part of this because I'm going to all these dispensaries, and I don't feel like all Just Compassion was like his dispensary just 2.0. Right? Because I was just like a little warehouse with a couch, and I could bring my dog and we'd smoke, and there were other patients there, and it was just beautiful. I felt comfortable. I was around other people who could accept me for me and cannabis use and affordable prices that I could afford with a patient who couldn't afford much. I couldn't at the time, and I needed that. So Just Compassion was an expansion on that. And it's even interesting because now, as cannabis has turned into this like for-profit business, it's okay. It is great. Make money, be well, do great. It's amazing. But it's almost like a lot of people don't understand the way that I operated Just Compassion. Like, it wasn't this hand over fist thing that a lot of people imagine with dispensaries, right? I was doing the lowest prices I could do. So I have this much overhead that I have to meet. I need this to live. I need and then do deals and be part of the community and it was beautiful. And if for an example, if I was just like a legal business and I was doing the same thing, but I was able to collect insurance after the robberies or those type of things, I wouldn't have the ups and downs. And the main thing was just 100% for the patients. I never got raided during Project Claudia for any one of the reasons, for any one of the years. I've been open there for 6 years, and I only got raided because we were still open during COVID and weren't following the regulations properly, I feel. My charges have already been dropped, and I'm just waiting to kind of completely dropped and whatever. So that's cool. But
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
but look, during Project Claudia, if I told my staff, I'm like, okay, guys, go until I don't know if they're gonna come here, right? But what ended up happening was that, and nobody to blame. It was like if you were a patient without MMAR or whatever ACMPR after, I would work with you to get it. I had access with teams with their doctors to make, if you're a patient in need, and then if you couldn't afford it, we were going to help you out, or at least I was, right? And
Right.
it meant a lot to me. It's a different thing. Like you can make all the money you want in the world, but as soon as you start helping somebody in need, and I don't know, it maybe after I got sick, it became this thing. It's just like that's all I want. I just want to help people, and it helps me. Like I don't know. It's. I know I'm not the first person to say this, but it's like it's. I'm not saying it's like a selfish act or something, but I get more out of helping somebody than I do out of making money or I don't know. It's hard to explain.
The name of
It's
your
not
business.
hard to explain at
Yeah.
all, honey. I
That's
agree
right.
100%. I am so with you there. I am
Yeah,
so with you.
Yeah.
this
It's
is why I have no money.
yeah.
I'm not alone.
No, exactly. Yeah, no, you're not alone, man. You're not alone. It's a feeling that I've always sort of described as when I was a kid. We watched The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, and you would see when the Grinch, when he realized how much of a difference he made in somebody, his heart grew bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's what helping people and seeing the difference, and you're doing it just out of the fact of compassion. It's the way to go.
I was a down and out, no insurance, no nothing. I was like my whole life turned upside down, and then I thought this, I thought that. Next thing you know, I'm screwed. It's like fuck. What do I do? And cannabis is helping me. I need it. It's not cheap. What do I do? Right. And I'm a pretty resourceful dude. Right. I could say this or that, whatever, but I'm resourceful, and I have certain abilities and support, which is probably the best thing ever. I have support, and a lot of people don't. So I was able to lend support, right, and just expand on that and build these support circles. And that was just compassion, and yeah, it's really beautiful. Like we just need more of that, and I'm sure there's lots out there, and I'm seeing these good vibes, and that's what I try to follow online and on social media, and I think there's a lot of negativity out there, but these algorithms, they hone into what you want to watch. So if you're seeing a lot of depressing news and crazy stuff and fear mongering and whatever, then just try looking up other things. Maybe you just caught yourself on a bad algorithm and you're curious and you want to look up those things, and it's okay, and you're scratching your head, but then you're overwhelmed. Just don't, and look up good, happy stuff and good stories. And like I just found a story about a gentleman who got. I could go on about this. Like it's so easy. It's so feel good stories, right? Like
Well,
the whole world.
There was a good there was a good story for a goat in the news. I don't know if you saw that, but a goat won a fight with a bear.
Oh shoot!
Which is rare. It's rare.
The goat, the greatest of all time.
Yeah, mountain goat. It took on a bear, and they found a dead bear, and it had puncture wounds. Yeah, North Dakota or something. It was in the. I saw it on online when I was looking for news for the reporters.
One tough goat.
It sure is, exactly.
Yeah,
right.
But I mean, that's good advice, though, Justin, for all of us, especially in today's world, no matter what situation that you're in. Trying to keep the news positive is, it can be a difficult task at the best of times. And in today's world, it's extremely hard, but it's something that I think we all really need to start striving for a little bit more.
Yeah.
Just take a step back. You're right. Like it's I don't know. I get my heart warmed up. It's a nice way to live if you can, right? With kindness, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nah.
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, let's take that break, that 9 o'clock break. Alrighty. Okay, when we return, Kim and I will continue our discussion, as I mentioned before, with Justin. You're listening to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here, paceradio.net. You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
The People's Alliance of Cannabis in Canada is an organization working to improve cannabis legalization in Canada. They have a mission and values that includes all Canadians, no matter where they come from. The values are including everyone, as no one should be excluded from participating, equality, diversity, advocacy, along with cannabis education and research, plus industry, safety, and professional standards. If this is an organization that has the same values as you, check them out at peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Once again, peoplesallianceofcannabisincanada.ca. Check them out.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
The People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network provides its listeners with news, information, and a place to be heard. This is done with a twice-weekly broadcast of the Reefer Reporters and by providing cannabis advocates a place to be heard through Cannabis and Coffee to Marijuana and the award-winning Pace Radio Show. Catch it all here at paceradio.net.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains. And when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
What is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network? It's a network of people advocating cannabis education.
CP operates a medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net. Hey, welcome back to the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. Tonight on the program, we're joined by the founder of Just Compassion. That's Justin Loizos, as well as Northern Ontario, Kim Cooper is here with me. And we were just having a good laugh before the break ended suddenly.
I wasn't sure you were going to make it out.
But that happens. All right. Kim, as you said during the break, you know, we've done some past stuff, and we're going to look into the future now.
Yes, we are. We're going to look in the future. We talked to Justin about, how he got started and much of the stuff that he's done in the past leading him up to where he is today. Sadly, he is emptying his shop. And I mean, that's been your heartbeat for so long, operating a shop somewhere or another. You wound up migrating. You were up on the Danforth for a bit there as well. And now that is closing down. And as you say, you're cleaning it out now, Justin. So what's next?
What's next? I'm often asking myself that, and I'm putting a lot of focus onto it. I still don't have any solid answers. So what I found myself doing is, because look, this COVID is hopefully ending soon. Maybe it never will. I don't friggin' know. But I know that the restrictions are leaving off and people are going back into the world, and I will to some degree. But the unfortunate thing is that mobility is hard for me. And I was explaining earlier that I did a lot of favors to myself by not always going in and pushing it so hard. And so I think I'm going to try and tone it down a little. And at least for now, one of the cool things that I'm doing is I started a podcast, and I think it's going to be a good way for me to connect with people as the world opens up. I'll still feel connected, so I can keep conversations going and check in on people. And I have a lot of friends who have transitioned into the legal market. And I'm really curious because maybe I'll find my place there. I've had ideas. At one point I had I was going to do, I think it was on paper, it was a lot of stores, a bunch. I had a deal worked out with my landlord, and he was going to let me to put leases on all of the stores without anything, just put them down for applications on, I think it was 12 addresses across across Ontario. And that was the plan that I had to roll out in Ontario. And then they came out with the lottery. And then they stopped it. I'm like, what? Just this is all nonsense. I don't want to play this game anymore. It's not for me. And the pace that it's moving at, I don't have the capital. I don't know. It just, anyway, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. Okay. So I do have a lot of friends though who have actually have opened up a store, multiple stores. Some are LPs or micros, and there's all these other people who I kind of have been really interested in and I've met along the way, and they're doing great things. So you guys know how it is. There's so many interesting stories, right? So I just want to talk and at the same time feel connected, see where I'm going there. And I was going to do, I was just in my club, and it's sad because I have this table there, and it was for the Just Compassion show. And I was doing episodes, and I was trying and whatever, but I was juggling too much at the same time, And then I'm like, okay. Then I started Cannabis Newsweek. I'm like, this is Cannabis Newsweek, and just reporting on cannabis, and that was going okay. And then I didn't like it because it was too directed, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to do this for MS, and I was going to do this quest for a cure and focus primarily only on MS. I'm like, you know what? Slow down, Justin. Let's do everything and not really care so much, because I have all these neat names and ideas and whatever. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to maybe change the name later, but I'll just call it my own name. I'm not even trying to be egotistical or anything, but I mean, it's just people know my name, and it's going to be about MS and cannabis and everything and nice and cool things and whatever, just casual, right? Because I want to heal. I want to walk. I want to feel better. Those are my main goals. I want to start doing hurdles, not be knocked over by these things. And the more people who I talk to, holistic healers, doctors, other patients who have had successes, the opposite, have overcome them. I want to just do better. I want to feel better. I want to heal. So as long as I can do that, I'm okay. And I just want to get a lot of help with it. So that's it. That's what I'm primarily focusing on. In the background, I'm going to be scrambling, how am I going to serve? I have some ideas, and I'm thinking and planning, trying not to stress out. But yeah, I'm just trying to clean out my club right now. So short term, get that all settled, get the podcast launched. And again, I did one episode. I had this whole plan, and I haven't been able to fully launch. and I'm just seem to always be tripping over something and trying to get multiple episodes pre-done even before I start doing interviews. And here we are. So this is it's great because even just the more any kind of time that I get speaking and these kind of experiences all add up and help me. And I know you guys already know what you're doing, so I can kind of just, it's not as much pressure. And right. So I hope that after so long, after doing, like, I had a very structured rollout plan, and then it didn't happen the way I wanted. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to chill out and really try to make this just about, not me per se, but the things that are in my world and how I can do better, how I can feel better, you know, and be part of this, this world as it opens back up, because, you know, I'm disabled, and I don't have a lot of the same abilities as people. So hopefully this can make me feel as though I'm still there when I'm not sometimes, right?
Absolutely. Well, you are. You're always with us. I'll give you my husband's famous saying. This goes out to you, dear Mr. Cooper. My husband's famous saying to me when I get all stressed about this kind of thing, he just looks at me and he goes, "Don't worry, dear. Plans are fluid."
That's it.
That's right.
Plans are fluid.
They're not etched in stone.
Words to live by, according to Mr. Cooper. I'm a planner as well, so I get you, Justin. I understand what you mean. I'm a planner as well. You were speaking, and I'm sitting here, and I'm shaking my head going, "Yep, been there, done that." Sometimes we want to do so bloody much. Your plate winds up so full. Just like when it has too much food on it, shit starts falling off. And, you know, then nothing gets accomplished because you're spread too thin.
Exactly.
So finding a focus and bringing it down into low gear, I think that's a fantastic idea. And I have no doubt that you will do marvelous with your podcast.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And it's that those are the things, just fluid, right? Just flow with it, roll with it, and not get tripped up, because it doesn't matter. It's all quid. It's nothing major. Like, who cares, right? Just don't get stressed out. And another neat thing, I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it, but I started kind of working like with this program with my pharmaceutical company. I started a drug that's working really well for me, and I haven't had the best success with these medications over the years, and this one seems to be really helping me. And I started working with the company, and it's a multinational pharmaceutical company, and they're just like trying to work with patients to better the program. And I don't know how much I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but I think there'll be more things that kind of get opened up soon. And I don't know when or what or how, but I'm excited. And it's a great program.
It sounds like something that's experimental and something that you're finding is working for you, and that's how they advance that. Like I've been on a certain drug now for the last 3 years, and when I started, it was the same thing. It was a new drug.
But hold on. Sorry, this interesting thing is that I'm not on a trial for the drug. The trials are over. I think there's that they've been successful. I know some patients who have been the first round of the trial and everything. But I've actually started to work with the company. Like, you know, they're paying me. I get a check from them, and
nice.
The hour.
Good.
Yeah, it's neat, and it's like, so it's you know, like I'm so, I guess, I don't know, like, excited to be a part of that program, because we're working to try and help all patients with MS. Yeah. Right? Like, even if it's just a little bit, right? It's just on that same thread of where, like, you know, just helping out, and I feel like anything that I could do to help anybody who's in a similar position to myself or anybody in general, I don't know, it's just a nice thing. And I'm lucky because, you know, Al, like these trials, and sorry to cut you off there, but
no problem.
the trials, the we've gone there. This drug works, and thankfully people have taken those kind of first steps, right? Like I'm on a short list for I don't know exactly but basically I'm on like a list for a third phase of a stem cell treatment that is more for the progressive types of MS, and that's what I have now. And it seems as though it's had great successes where I once turned down stem cell, and sometimes it works really well for MS patients. So I'm really excited to roll the dice on that one, right? Like, how did the trial go for you?
Well, I'm still on the drug. Yeah, it was something that was new, and they told me here, this is what it's all about.
Right.
And I looked up the information because I was on a previous drug to that I had to quit 2 years previously, and so I wasn't on anything for the 2 years, and then I ended up in the hospital. So they put me on this onto this drug, and I found a difference. I wouldn't say it was there was a lot of differences between the two different drugs, but according to recent tests, it shows that this drug has been making a difference internally, so that's good.
And you feel it's working, or it's hard to say?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, it's working. It's keeping me on the right side of where the grass is growing. Right, I'm seeing the green side, not the root side. Right, but they are two different drugs, and they hit you differently. And this one really is gentler, and I feel it's better for me than the previous one that I was on.
And that's nice. Even the little things.
They're both administered through an IV, where I have to go into a clinic to get them done. So,
how often?
Every 8 weeks. $3,700 each time I go. A few bucks. But pharmaceutical drugs are expensive, right?
They add up, and in Canada, everyone thinks you get everything covered, but it's not the case, right? It depends on your program, your coverage, the government. There's some things that they'll cover. There's some things that they won't.
Yeah, there's some hoops you got to jump through sometimes.
Yeah. I'm lucky. Like for my medicine, it's there. The stem cell, they're a little hesitant on, but you know how it goes, right?
Yeah.
How it goes. Look, like there was the one that I was on, and you have to poke yourself every day with this little injector, and all right, it's annoying, and it's not. Where this one, I go every 6 months, and I get an infusion for like 3 hours or something like that.
Okay, that's similar treatment. Like I get my infusions this one's now an hour, but the old one was 3 hours.
Okay, yeah. They have different paces. Even they started doing tests. When I'm just looking up the medicine, and they're finding that you can increase the uptake. Mm-hmm. Some people do it, some people don't.
Frequencies.
But I do. Right.
Yeah.
The joys, eh? The joys.
Oh yes, that's right. So what? Back to Kim's question, as far as you're doing that as far as future. Now with the dispensary closing down, we all sort of move on into something new. You talk about some of your friends have gone into the legal world. Are you? I guess through your podcast, that's the way you're going to look at a way of still staying connected and doing things within the cannabis community.
Yeah, there's a chance that, like, I've had my foot in, like, or toe in for the last since pre-legalization, trying to do this, trying to do that, but nothing 100%. I didn't completely commit. Just sort of examining and investigating, trying to understand it better, and I'm not there yet. Where even at a point, I wanted to do my own LP, right? And I was doing an outdoor grow. If you saw that one out in Quebec there, and it was on 100 acres with a fellow MS patient, And the idea was that we would, open up an LP, and we have this big land, and we'll grow there and start, and for the patients, right?
Right.
And like, what am I doing? I'm like, it's hard for me to get around, and I'm like going from Toronto to Ottawa, Ottawa, Quebec, back and forth, trying to run this giant grow, and it all worked out, but it didn't work out perfectly because I'm like, you know what? Unfortunately, right now this isn't the right move, and I'm just trying. That's all I'm saying. I'm trying. So I like the idea of it's just so hard, and you really gotta dedicate yourself. I've always had to balance so much, so doing that and the club, then I try to throw a concert at the same time. I don't know, like it's just I'm trying to enjoy life too, right? So,
exactly.
And now I'm slowing down, try not to punish myself, and not make the wrong decision, not jump into the wrong decision. I want to talk to friends and see how they're doing, and see maybe I'm going to find something else. I don't want to rush into anything. I also, in the background, I want to still.
Good idea.
That's right. Exactly.
Look, I have patients who I still have to take care of, so I want to, like, even then, I started this little, like, I don't know, I was like clones, and I have about a lot of bongs that I have that I gotta, little things, right? And little things, nothing major right now. I'm trying not to stress out. Stress is the worst thing, and I might find that the cannabis world is on the legal market, and I don't know. I don't want to say anything one way or the other. I don't know. Yeah, right. I don't know. But
you're winging it. You're
well. See, like now that the shops closed, and you haven't committed to anything, and you're open and to see what happens where the chips all fall.
Right.
Yeah.
With the focus, I want to connect, stay connected, help people, and take care of myself with the primary focus finally on me. I want to walk again. Like, never mind like this and that. I don't want to talk and learn and expand, but as much as I'm going to be talking to people in the legal market, or even in the gray area still, see how everyone's doing. I also want to talk, like, I was looking up gene editing and multiple sclerosis. So I want to find whoever's working on that with MS. Like, I want to talk to that person. I want to talk to stem cell scientists. I want to help. I want to find out, like, are there ways? There's these cold baths and cryo freezing, and I'm really trying to, like, dig deep on different ways to heal, and not fall for the snake oil salesman, or put too much negative energy or too much energy into something negative. But I don't know. I think that if I put enough focus into anything, I will get success. So if I just make my goal to walk again,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely, yes.
Yep.
Yeah, like I was told once I would never walk again, and the pardon me, the Cannabis Rights Coalition trip that I did to the Supreme Court in Ottawa was I did the stairs there. I walked up the stairs, and I was told I would never walk again before that, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. There you go. You did the stairs, and
I was walking around inside. We
spoke that day. It was quite the day. It was quite the day. We were all there.
It's like a day of infamy. It'll always remember that day. It was beautiful.
And I have to completely agree with you, Justin. And the only reason I can do that is because of you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you were the one who got me on the bus to get there.
Right? That was beautiful.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, being there in that courtroom and seeing, everything with the judges, and we all knew the outcome. They laughed. Yeah, you could tell. Yeah. Everybody, just the cheer.
Everybody knew it was. It was the win.
It was official. It was unofficial. It was official. We knew it was beautiful, and I'll never forget that day. Like, it was so many people. Like, we all were passionate. Everybody in there had a story, had a connection, had a it's just everything.
It sure was. It sure was. That's right. Yes. Well,
yes.
you know,
Well, we'll we're at the end of our time. I know it's shout out time, but I'm gonna say, you know, get going on this podcast. You need a hand, let me know. I'm here to help you out in any way that I possibly can. And we got to have you back on again real soon once you get that podcast launched so that we can talk about it some more and all you learn between now and then.
Hey, I love it. Please. I'll definitely take you up on that. So thank you.
All right. Sounds good. Okay, so yeah, shout out, Justin.
Oh, I want to show you guys though. You're doing a great job. I've had so much support from you over the years now, and I really love it. So shout out to the Pace Radio Show, Al and Kim, and Tamara as well. She had me on recently. Like, this is an interesting thing, right? Is that media is media, and they all have an agenda, right? Without getting so weird. And I learned to kind of play that game with them. I'd be like, listen, just say I have multiple sclerosis and I use cannabis to help it. The rest is okay, because I know they're not going to say everything, right? But I go, you have to get that in, okay? And with our type of media here, there's nothing like that. We're just having this conversation. It's pure. You guys are doing the right thing. And it's always been like that. So I love it. And our community does. So thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you for your kind words.
It's needed.
Absolutely.
Thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
All right, Kim, shout
out. I'm going to give a shout out to 5 wonderful women that I had the pleasure of spending a very awesome long weekend with during the Karma Cup weekend. Of course, there was no Karma Cup event, but I went to my Airbnb that I go to each and every single year for Karma, and we partied for Karma without having an event, and we painted that Toronto green, and we had such a blast. So shout out to Cindy Howell, to Tara, to JJ, to Courtney, and to Kathy. We rocked the house, man, in more ways than one. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, tune into IWK 710 Deli Sesh, which aired tonight with Cindy Howell. And Cindy and I are on there telling a few tidbit stories of some of the adventures that we had over the weekend. It was simply fantabulous and a great group of gals.
I'm gonna check it out.
My shout out goes to the Kim's taxi driver. I'll just leave it at that. You have to watch IWK to find out.
I need to shout out. Yeah, I should have gave it to him too. He deserves it, along with his $20 tip. Go check it out on IWK. It's pretty funny.
All right, just a reminder to everybody know that Kim and I will be back next Wednesday with our special guest. You can find the Pace Radio Network and Pace Radio Show and so on and so forth. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth. Add them all up. Thank you. Just go to our sponsors, the friendly and helpful folks at legacy420.com, bmahydroponics.com, drbuckscts.com, as well as the Campbellford Lifestyle Shop in downtown Campbellford. Plus, a big thank you to our guest, Justin Loizos. Thank you, Justin, for coming on the show. It's always great to talk to you and to get caught up.
Hey, cheers. Thank you, guys.
And as always, Kim, thank you.
And you back at Al. Happy to be here.
and thank you to our listeners for tuning in the program. And good night.
Good night.
Night.
You know I blame it on industry.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net. Do you want to hear what patients and cannabis advocates have to say? If so, then catch the Pace Radio Show Wednesday nights here on paceradio.net.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.